Hey, my friends, we will be right back to the show. But I have a question for you. Are you struggling with the impact of childhood trauma? Well, know that you're not alone. I'm here to let you know that I'm starting a brand new weekly coaching group that includes a year of life coaching, accountability, support, habit and goal setting, and more. I'm starting a waitlist for the group right now, and I'm only taking a handful of people. And I'll let you know that through this personalized coaching, we'll work together to help you understand how your childhood trauma has shaped your beliefs, behaviors, emotions, and will help you create a roadmap for healing and growth. Right now, you can schedule an absolutely free coaching session with me and get put on the wait list if you go to thinkunbroken.com. My friends, it's your time to turn your trauma into triumph, breakdowns into breakthroughs, and become the hero of your own story. And I'm here to support you in doing that. Just go to thinkunbroken.com to register for a free coaching call with me and to get put on the wait list for the brand new weekly coaching program. We'll be right back to the show. But before we do, I want to tell you about today's sponsor, factormeals.com, where if you go to factormeals.com/unbroken50 and use the code unbroken50, you can get 50% off your first order. That's factormeals.com/unbroken50. If you're like me and you are a person who is busy trying to create a life, heal, work on their health, wealth, and relationships, and not to mention deal with the day-to-days of normal life, you do not have time to be going to the grocery store and trying to figure out what you're going to cook every single day of the week. In fact, one time I did the math and I realized I was spending over 15 hours a week at the grocery store and cooking. When I added Factor, I got to use that time for myself, for my family, for my friends, for my community, and for my business. And so if you're in the place where you need some more support in the kitchen, head to factormeals.com/unbroken50 and use the code unbroken50 to get 50% off. Hey, my friends, we will be right back to the show. But I have a question for you. Are you struggling with the impact of childhood trauma? Well, know that you're not alone. I'm here to let you know that I'm starting a brand new weekly coaching group that includes a year of life coaching, accountability, support, habit and goal setting, and more. I'm starting a waitlist for the group right now, and I'm only taking a handful of people. And I'll let you know that through this personalized coaching, we'll work together to help you understand how your childhood trauma has shaped your beliefs, behaviors, emotions, and will help you create a roadmap for healing and growth. Right now, you can schedule an absolutely free coaching session with me and get put on the wait list if you go to thinkunbroken.com. My friends, it's your time to turn your trauma into triumph, breakdowns into breakthroughs, and become the hero of your own story. And I'm here to support you in doing that. Just go to thinkunbroken.com to register for a free coaching call with me and to get put on the wait list for the brand new weekly coaching program. Hey, what's up, my friends? Hope that you are doing well wherever you are in the world today. Before we get started, I wanted to let you know that I've released some new material on Think Unbroken Academy. If you go to thinkunbrokenacademy.com, you can take the self-love assessment as well as the free course is CPTSD Controlling My Life, as well as sign up for the upcoming courses where we take some deep dives into mindset, healing, trauma, and overcoming. So you can check that out at thinkunbrokenacademy.com, and I will see you in the classroom.
Welcome to the Michael Unbroken podcast, where it's all about understanding your past, getting out of the vortex, creating intention, cultivating self-belief, and becoming the hero of your own story. This podcast answers real client questions with real, personal, practical, and actionable advice based on science, mindset, and becoming unbroken. Now, your trauma coach, author, and speaker, Michael Anthony.
Hey, what's up, Unbroken Nation? Hope that you're doing well wherever you are in the world today. Coming at you from a little bit of a different spot here as I've had to escape the Oregon wildfires, as I know many of my friends and peers have. So first and foremost, just to everyone who's reached out on social, thank you. I really appreciate it. I think now is a time that's very scary and very frightening for many of us, myself included. I'm very thankful to have amazing people in my life to be supportive through this journey. And if you are one of them, thank you so much. I wanted to share something today that I think is really interesting, and that is this idea and notion of growth through being uncomfortable. And one of the things I recently posted was the only way that you discover who you are is by uncovering the depths of your emotional capacity. And what I mean by that is so often many of us feel like we are stuck, hidden, buried underneath our emotions. It is very hard for us to tap into them, to relate to other human beings. Sometimes we feel very robotic, right? I've had that experience myself. One of the things I'm really fascinated by is this idea and this experience that I've had in which when I decided to step into my emotional capacity, that everything about my life seemed to change. And what I mean by that is there was this moment in time where I had made a decision and a declaration that I was going to allow myself to feel emotion. And that's a really difficult thing to do for many people, myself I include in that, especially because when I was younger, I mean, at one point I didn't cry for 15 years. That is a very, very long time to be an emotional recluse. And so because of that, I didn't really understand how to step into emotion. And more so once I did, initially at least, it felt very terrifying. In time, however, as I would come to discover, stepping into the emotional capacity that I had is really kind of the foundational baseline for the growth and the healing that I began to have. What I want you to understand about emotions particularly is that, especially if we've had them stuffed down for a long time, is that you can open them up and it'll be like Pandora's box. And suddenly you're in this place where you're overwhelmed, you're encumbered, and you're like, what is going on? Suddenly you go from not feeling emotions to feeling all of the emotions. Now, there are pros and cons to that, I think. And the one thing that I would tell you that I would want you to take away from today is just understanding that when you allow yourself the ability to feel emotion, you step into your humanity. What I mean by that is so often we are robotic, and you may feel that way. Many times people message me and they say, I don't know how to feel like a person. I don't know what that means. I don't know what this sensation of alive is. Well, in part, stepping into emotion is living. In essence, that is your humanity. Look, here's the thing. If you have been in this position where you are always putting your emotions down, you're just pushing them down, pushing them down because it's so uncomfortable, then you are never going to really be able to tap into understanding who it is that you are. By tapping into the understanding of who we are through our emotion, we're able to make meaning of our own experience. So here's the thing. Emotions can be this very tricky and finicky beast, right? And as you get closer to them, you want to run. It feels native. It feels right. It feels like the best thing that you can do with emotions is escape from them. But I would challenge you not to do that. And the reason why is because we've spent so much time escaping from our emotions to the point that we no longer feel like a human being. And because of that, we then feel robotic. I mean, I don't know about you, but I've had these times where, I look at someone's face and I can see the tears in their eyes and I know that I've hurt them and I have no emotional response. Well, I should say I didn't used to have an emotional response, and now I feel that. And it's changed me for who I am. And here's the thing that I want you to think about. Being emotional doesn't mean that you have to cry at the drop of a hat. It doesn't mean you have to freak out. It doesn't mean you have to be angry all the time. It doesn't mean that you have to be happy all the time. That's not how this works. What it means is that you just allow yourself to feel the emotions that are present. And that can be really difficult, especially because we don't know how to tap into that, especially as trauma survivors. So where do you start? I suggested to one of my clients very recently to go and watch a sad movie. Like, just go and watch one of those movies that you know is sad and not fun and allow a tear to fall down your face. Even if it's just one. One is better than zero. One is always better than zero, my friend. And along with that, look, here comes the range of emotion. If you want to feel happy emotions, if you want to feel joy and glee and hope, you also have to feel sadness and despair, and you have to feel anger. And that's okay. We are allowed to feel our emotions. I want you to really take this with you. You, as a human being on planet Earth, right now, listening to this or watching this, wherever you are in the world, you are allowed to feel emotion. I'm giving you permission. to feel emotion. And that's going to be very scary initially, especially if it's been a while. You also have to, and more importantly, because I can only show you the path, you have to give yourself permission to feel emotion. And that means in these moments that you are drastically and unbearably uncomfortable, you need to lean in a little bit more, step into it just a touch more, because the difference of you not fighting the emotional response that you're having to either positive or negative stimulus, that is what is going to help you catapult into the next level. People are always asking me, how do I really do this process? How do I change? How do I grow? How do I heal? Really, I believe that you have to allow yourself to feel, because you cannot make meaning of situation without attaching an emotional response to them, right? And I'm not saying that every response that we have deserves an emotional response. That's just not how it works, right? Some things are very analytical, some things are very A and B, and there's no room for gray area. But if you're sad, it's okay to be sad. And if you're happy, it's okay to be happy. And all the emotions in between. And the more that you step into those, the more of your own humanity you are going to be able to cultivate. You are going to be able to take a hold of. You're going to also be able to create. So don't be afraid of your own emotional capacity. And look, I get it, because people have told you you're not allowed to cry, you're not allowed to be angry, you're not allowed to be sad. Look, you are. You are allowed to do those things. You are allowed to be angry. You are allowed to be sad. You're allowed to, if you need to, yell into a pillow until you feel better. You're allowed to cry. You're allowed to laugh with, your friends and your family and the people in your life. That's okay. It's acceptable. And the scary part about it is when you do it the first time, and the second, and the third, and the fifth, and the 200th, it's going to feel weird. It's going to feel, for lack of a better term, like you're lying to yourself. That was my experience. I always felt like, this isn't really me. I'm just trying to do this so I feel different. But you know what happened is I actually felt different. I grew, I changed, I became such a different person by accepting the fact that I was an emotional human being. And in one sense, it was kind of having a chip on my shoulder and saying, you know what, I'm going to do this in spite and despite of the people who said I could never be a human being. And the other part of it, and probably the more important part of it, is that allowing myself to feel, allowing myself to be a human being made the journey so much easier. And I'm still on the journey. I will always be on the journey, but especially in the beginning, when I have just allotted myself the space to comfort myself in knowing that I could be happy or sad or angry or joyful, that carried a lot of weight with it. And so as you're in this place of learning who you are and discovering your tools and the inner working of who it is that you are a human being, I want you to challenge yourself to feel just a little bit every day, right? Think about the 1% rule. How do we do 1% better than we did yesterday? And I think that's by putting ourselves in positions of, unfortunately, being uncomfortable, right? We have to get uncomfortable with our emotional capacity. And within that discomfort, you will grow. And we always talk about it. We are the stories that we tell ourselves. And so if you're listening to this right now and you're telling yourself, I can't cry, I can't feel emotion, blah, 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 you have to stop. The most important thing that you can do right now is just stop and say, you know what? I am going to allow myself to feel. I am going to allow myself to be a human being. I am going to cry, to be happy, to be sad, to be loving, to whatever that emotion is. And in time, you'll further step into this idea and this notion of your own humanity. You have to get under the rust and under the dirt and under the grime in order to move forward. So I hope that you take that with you today, my friend. And until next time, be unbroken. I'll see you.
Thank you for listening to the Michael Unbroken podcast. To leave your question for Michael, call 971-801-2446. Please follow, subscribe, and review. And don't forget to check out more mental health resources at thinkunbroken.com. And follow Michael on Instagram at MichaelUnbroken.
Hey, my friends, we will be right back to the show. But I have a question for you. Are you struggling with the impact of childhood trauma? Well, know that you're not alone. I'm here to let you know that I'm starting a brand new weekly coaching group that includes a year of live coaching, accountability, support, habit and goal setting, and more. I'm starting a waitlist for the group right now, and I'm only taking a handful of people. And I'll let you know that through this personalized coaching, we'll work together to help you understand how your childhood trauma has shaped your beliefs, behaviors, emotions, and will help you create a roadmap for healing and growth. Right now, you can schedule an absolutely free coaching session with me and get put on the wait list if you go to thinkunbroken.com. My friends, it's your time to turn your trauma into triumph, breakdowns into breakthroughs, and become the hero of your own story. And I'm here to support you in doing that. Just go to thinkunbroken.com to register for a free coaching call with me and to get put on the wait list for the brand new weekly coaching program.